For this video, we're going to do a little bit of review of geometry. Most of the information you are getting in this video, you've been hearing for several years. In this video, we're going to talk about terms, labeling, angles, and polygon criteria. So first, let's go over some geometry terms. So a dot on the page, a geometry term is called a point. A line that has 2 points where it ends is called a line segment. And you know where it starts, we know where it ends. It doesn't continue on from there. This is called a ray, where you have a starting point, and then you have an arrow going off in any direction. So it starts here and it continues in that direction forever. And then you have a line, where you have arrows going in both directions, so the line continues in those directions forever. And then the term a regular polygon. In a regular polygon, the length of all of the sides are the same, and the angles are all the same. An irregular polygon means the lengths of the sides vary, and the angles vary. Concave. A concave polygon is when you have one really big angle in the shape. So for example, if you look at this angle here, it is a concave angle because it is more than 180 degrees. So, sorry, it's a reflex angle because it's more than 180 degrees, but it is a concave polygon because it has that angle in it. A convex polygon is where all of the angles are less than 180 degrees. So a concave polygon and a convex polygon. Now we're going to review labeling. For geometry, just to be consistent, we're going to label everything with capital letters. Sometimes it's lowercase letters, but our textbook uses uppercase, so we're going to use capital letters. When you're labeling a point, it's just a single capital letter. So this would be point A, if you're trying to identify it. A line segment, you would label both points, A and B, and you would write it down AB. So we know that we refer to a line segment. For a ray, again, you have that starting point, and then you have that arrow that goes off in any direction. You have to have another point on the ray so that you can label it. So you have 2 points here, point A and point B, and you would write that out by saying AB with a little arrow over top. Now the arrow doesn't have to correspond with the direction that the ray is actually going in. If the arrow was there, you wouldn't have to turn this the other way. This symbol, how it's written, just represents a ray. And a line, again, the line goes off in 2 different directions. You have to have 2 points on it to identify it when you're talking about geometry. So you have point A and point B, and similar to the ray, it's just a line, an arrow that goes in each direction. And then you have angles. So when we have our angle, we have our point here with our ray going in this direction and our ray going this way. The definition of an angle is it starts at one point and then it goes off in 2 different directions, which you can see here. And you have your vertex, which is, we've labeled angle point B, and then you have A and C. When you're labeling an angle, this is the symbol for angle, and you go angle ABC or angle CBA. If you notice, the B, or the vertex, is always in the center, and it has to be for an angle. So the order of the other 2 doesn't really matter, but the vertex has to be identified in the center. Alright, different types of angles. So we have a right angle, and we know that it's a right angle because of this little box here, which identifies that this is a 90-degree angle. If there was no box here, you can't just assume that it's a 90-degree angle, you'd have to measure it. You only know for certain if this little box is labeled or if you measure it and it's 90 degrees. So that's called a right angle. An acute angle is anywhere between 89 degrees and 0 degrees. So it's less than 90. An obtuse angle is more than 90 and less than 180, so it's in between these 2. A reflex angle is greater than 180 degrees, and a straight angle is exactly 180. Now a straight angle doesn't have a symbol like a right angle does, but sometimes there's a little arrow and they actually write 180 on it. And if you want to check for sure, then you just use your protractor and you measure it. So this was the criteria that we came up for polygons in class. So a polygon is a closed figure, so there are no open sides. There are exactly two sides meet at a vertex. So in your shape, only two sides meet at a vertex, so you can't have sort of like a crisscross happen in your shape. That wouldn't qualify as a polygon. And all sides are line segments. There are no curved lines in a polygon. So there's just some geometry review.